What's up, guys? It's Tony here, and welcome back to Man Cave Studios. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to be talking about music. It's just entertainment, folks, said the guy on the screen. So yeah, I'm going to be talking a little bit about music today, specifically live music, watching concerts, fun things like that, and what I kind of expect when I go to concerts. Um, because there have been some things recently that I've seen in the metal community, which is the last place you would expect to see these things, that some artists and some of the ones that I even listen to have been potentially lip syncing while they perform live. And one of the groups that I really like, they released a DVD back in 2004, I think, where one of the songs, they must have mixed it poorly or something, but it's clear as day that you could see the guy's lips not moving, but like hear his voice when he's singing a certain part of the song. Like, it's clear as day. Like, he's like right in front of the camera while the camera's live or on him or whatever, and you hear his voice, but he's clearly not singing. The microphone is like behind his back, and he's like listening for the crowd. So obviously that was added in afterwards, and there have been other things that I've seen in YouTube comments, things like that, where, I'll be watching a live video for one of my favorite bands, and someone will have a link in the description to what it actually sounded like live, and it sounds nothing like it does in the clip that the band released. It sounds a lot different in the fan released video rather than the actual video that the band is releasing and putting out as, I guess, a single or whatever. Um, so it's quite shocking that this is coming to the metal community. Um, of course, I only really listen to prog metal. Maybe that gives it away who I'm talking about, really. Although the first band I was talking about, where the microphone was behind his back, I don't think many people would know them. Um, but this brings up a big question. Is it right or wrong to lip sync? To not actually sing live? And not just singing, we're going to go in depth. We're going to talk about uh, backing tracks, things like that. So, first of all, the reason why I'm showing you this video of Devin Townsend performing live is not because I think he lip syncs. I mean, it's obvious that he uses backing tracks sometimes when on tour because he runs all his financial stuff by himself. So, you know, he's not he's not going to bring a whole choir to sing some of his choir bits and pieces that he includes in his music to some of his shows. So yeah, he uses backing tracks, and that largely I don't really have a problem with guitarists using backing tracks or things like that. I mean, when John Petrucci of Dream Theater is playing live, he's not playing everything live. Like, if you listen to the music, there's always a lead guitar, and then sometimes there's a rhythm guitar. Obviously, you don't have two guitar players on stage, and he's the one playing them on the records. They don't have a separate rhythm guitarist. It's just him recording all the guitar pieces. And maybe Jordan Rudess, because apparently Jordan Rudess plays the guitar now. Uh, but if you look at his Instagram at all, he can apparently shred. Didn't expect that, really. The first time that he posted him doing like sweep arpeggios or something like that, it was quite funny to watch. Um, but either way, the point is, Dream Theater has one guitarist. So whenever you hear the rhythm guitar, wherever there is a rhythm guitar, it's always, pre-recorded. Uh, and, that doesn't really detach from the performance. In fact, that makes it better because you're hearing the song exactly as it is on the album. And for me, when I go to a concert, what I want to see is live musicians performing the songs that I heard on the album just louder. Like, there's only so loud that I can listen to a Devin Townsend album or a Dream Theater album or Ghost or Volbeat or any of the bands that I listen to before the neighbors start throwing bricks through my windows. So when I go to a concert, I want to be with like-minded people, people who listen to the same music that I do, and I want to be rocking out to it. I want to hear that stuff. I want it to be loud. That's why I don't go to orchestras. I don't watch symphonies, you know? Not that I have anything against the music. My friend who lives down in Florida has classical music playing through his house like all day. I don't even know if he shuts it off at night, to be honest with you. I haven't investigated that hard, but you know, I don't have anything against classical music. I actually like it. I like that he has that going on. It feels really peaceful. My parents, you know, they're not classical fans. My dad has said, "Oh, I don't know why he plays his classical stuff." I'm like, who cares? It's classical music. It's like, it's not bad. Um, but you know, I don't go to watch that stuff live. It's not loud enough. It's not my type of music. I like the four chords, you know, or gent, like fast and heavy metal. That's the type of music that I like. Like Devin, like the guy you see on the screen, Devin Townsend. So, anyway, I'm getting way off topic. um, but, you know, you see, when I go to a concert, I want to see these guys playing loud. But the important part of that is that they're playing, you know? I can go anywhere and listen to music loudly, pre-recorded music loudly. Like, I like the songs as they are on the album. Every song that I listen to, I like it as it is on the album. And most of the artists I listen to, they sound better on the album than live, which most artists sound like that, with the exception of maybe Rush. Um, Devin Townsend also sounds really good live. I would say that Devin Townsend probably sounds as good live as he does on the records that he records. But, you know, I could go anywhere and listen to music loudly. I could just sit in my car. In fact, I actually like driving places because I get to sit in my car, turn up the volume, and sing along at 40 decibels to whatever artists that I'm listening to. Devin Townsend, Dream Theater, Ghost, Volbeat, etc., you name it. Threshold, that's the other group that I listen to. I am a very big prog fan, starting to turn a little bit to hard rock slash, I guess, heavy metal. I mean, some of Ghost and Volbeat are heavy metal. A lot of it's hard rock. Anyway, but when I go to watch a band perform live, the difference is I expect them to actually perform. And I know a lot of people that listen to mainstream music go to concerts, and it's obvious that the artists are listening to are not actually singing. Or like, you know, these halftime shows or whatever at the Super Bowl or the whatever that was, World Cup performance that girl got a ton of slack afterwards because, you know, it's the World Cup. Why are we doing all this festivity concert crap? You know, it's not. I don't get it. That's the other thing. Like, if you go to a sporting event, I don't get why people in America care so much about the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, it's all pre-recorded. None of it's live. The artists, for the most part, aren't very good. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I don't know. I don't get why that's such a big thing. Just go to a concert. Um, but anyway, aside from that, like, you know, when I'm watching a concert live, I expect those, like, the guitars, I expect to actually, whoever's playing guitar to actually be playing the guitar. What we're hearing, I would hope, is the guitar playist, Jesus, live playing that guitar, playing that instrument. Where I would have a little bit, not a little bit of trouble, I would have a lot of trouble, is when I go to a concert and then I look up on YouTube a few days later and see clips of whatever singer, guitar player, whatever, not lining up, not being in sync with what's actually being played. Like, if the singer is singing and he cuts off singing, but you still hear him, that is an insult, especially to a fan. Like, to any fan, at least that's my opinion, anyway. Because, like, listen, to pay to go and see a concert, by any stretch of the imagination, is not cheap. Because these stupid ticketing agencies are trying to drive up prices, and all the real fans are going away, and all of the diehard loyal fans, they can't afford these ticket prices. So what you're getting are just people that have money that are fans. You're not getting any of the people front row that actually like your music, like are diehard fans of your music. And it's the same way with sporting events. Like, try to go to a playoff game at Madison Square Garden. Any sport, you name it. Basketball, hockey, they probably do a lot of other stuff there. Besides, the normal stuff, whatever, martial arts, wrestling, whatever. But try to get a ticket to any type of major event there. You can. Or in any stadium, really. I mean, it's becoming that way in Philly. The only place where I can see a hockey game anymore for a price under $50 total is up in New Jersey, up at the Prudential Center, seeing the Devils. I bought a ticket for a game. The Kings were in town. They were playing the Devils. And the only reason why I bought that ticket, I didn't buy it in advance. Like, I had just moved back to college the day before. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go see this. Because I used to be, well, I still am kind of a big LA Kings fan. I wouldn't say I'm a big LA Kings fan anymore, but I still cheer for them. And so I wanted to go up and see them, and, paid $20 for parking, paid $10 for a ticket, paid probably $15 for food. That's $45 total. That's probably the cheapest that you could pay to be in an arena seeing something you like anymore. You're not paying $45 to see a concert anywhere. When Ghost and Volbeat came to Camden, parking was $40. Parking. If I had known parking would be $40, I would have taken an Uber. No lie. That's just ridiculous, And I paid like $90 for the ticket, and I didn't have really good seats. So, that's $130 right there. I didn't even get any food because I was worried about spending any more money. I just spent $40 to park my car. When I get in there, I didn't eat anything. I went back up to school and I ate something when I got back. So it was a good thing I had a good dinner beforehand. But $130 to see a concert, not even really have a good seat. I would expect, and I did expect, to see musicians playing their music, actually playing their music live. And I think they did, I couldn't really judge because I was so far back, but I've seen YouTube clips, and it doesn't seem like anyone's calling out either of the artists for lip syncing or using backing tracks at any point. So I guess that's a good thing. And these artists also sound differently live than they do on the records, so you can hear them actually playing live or singing live, and it sounds different than they do on the records, and it sounds worse. Honestly, it sounds worse because the records, they mix them, they master them, but it's not about that. I would rather have artists, like singers, sounding worse on stage. I would rather go and see that than go to a place where the singer's just moving his mouth and not actually playing the music, not actually singing the lyrics. Because then what's the point of that? You're going to pay $130 to see that? Really? Like, seriously. You better be, for 130 bucks, and that's generous. Like, Ghost and Volbeat, they're not, I mean, they're big-ish bands, but, you know, they're not Ariana Grande. They're not, well, let's stay in the metal community. They're not Sabaton even, although Sabaton's kind of small, but at least in the United States. But Metallica or Iron Maiden, like for 150, if I'm sitting there watching people pretend to play their instruments for 150 bucks, I would expect to at least meet the bands beforehand. And, you know, these ticket sellers obviously have a monopoly over all this, which is why they can jack up the prices. Like, when my dad and we got tickets to see Dream Theater when it was originally scheduled in November, and then they rescheduled the concert and we could no longer make it, and for whatever reason, my dad didn't want to get a refund right away. But I simply could not make it. There was no chance that I could make it. And we tried to resell it, and they wouldn't let us resell the tickets at the same value, or even at a discounted value. Like, we had to pick a price that was above what their minimum price was. But, you know, if we tried to sell it at the original price, we would never get that amount of money when other tickets in the same area were selling for a lot less than that. And they were pretty expensive tickets. And we weren't front row. We weren't even in the first section. So it was just a waste of money. It wound up being a waste of money. And it's quite frankly ridiculous that these ticket sellers charge this much for tickets to concerts and things like that to begin with. And I know, a lot goes into it. A lot, these bands only make a certain amount of money from that. And I don't blame the bands at all. The ticket sellers are the ones to blame. And there's a really good, I don't know where you guys stand politically, but one of the guys that I watch clips of on YouTube sometimes is this guy, John Oliver. And he did this really good segment on ticket sellers. And I'll put a link to that in the description if you want to watch it. But it's about, the whole monopoly. He could probably explain it better than I did. But, you're paying all this money. You expect to see musicians playing live. Musicians singing live. So when I see stuff about some of the artists I listen to, some of the artists I've seen in concert lip syncing or using backing tracks, but not actually backing tracks, like using previously recorded bass tracks, guitar tracks, drum fills, whatever. It's just, it's mostly not drum fills, but you know what I'm saying. I just don't get it. Do you respect your fans? That's the question I would ask to these artists. Do you respect your fans? They're paying all this money to see you and you're not even going to play? You're just going to stand on the stage and pretend to play? Like, that's not good enough. That's simply not good enough. And I know a lot of people listen to these mainstream artists and it's regular, like it's expected that they're going to lip sync. And to that, I ask why? Why do you go to these concerts and support these artists? Why don't you just listen to the music in your car? Like, for the thrill of seeing them, but they're not actually doing anything. Like, the artists aren't actually doing anything. You're not meeting them. being in the same building as them, paying $150 to sit in a nosebleed and say that you were in the same building as an artist like that, I just don't get that. When I go to a concert, I want to hear that stuff live. I want to hear a different, I want it to sound a lot like it does on the record, obviously. But, when you're playing live, there's going to be some mistakes, things like that. That's fine. I want to watch humans play music live, play really talented, good music live. Like, whenever I'm watching John Petrucci or Devin Townsend, I'm always looking at, are they hitting the right notes at the right time? Does it line up exactly? Because those guys are superhuman. But even they, sometimes there are mistakes, or sometimes things go wrong. Like, John Petrucci was playing Paralyzed on the last tour, which was a new song off a new album, and the guitar, cut out. Like, the amp, or something was wrong with the amp or something, and he just kind of, you could tell that it wasn't pre-recorded because he kept trying to play it and it wasn't working, So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about artists lip syncing, pre-recording anything, and then trying to sell that as live. I just think it's pathetic, honestly. Like, Rush was the first band. That was the band I grew up with. And they played everything live. Like, it was rare that you had a backing track with a Rush song. And the only way you would have a backing track is if Geddy Lee was playing the bass and he had a guitar, or whatever, not a guitar, a synthesizer part, playing in the background. But that guy could do everything. Like, he could sing, he could play bass, he could play keyboards live. He would sometimes switch between bass and keyboards and then sing at the same time as doing both. Those guys never lip synced. He never lip sunk, whatever. Or Alex Lifeson. Every note he played, he actually played. And Neil Peart, that guy's a legend. I mean, the most viewed video on this channel is my tribute to him. You know how much he meant to me. And, there's not a chance. There's not a chance that guy is taking a shortcut. I mean, that guy played with a foot fungus in the last tour, in the R40 tour. There's not even a chance that guy would even think about pre-recording drums and having them in the background at any point. And of course, that technology didn't exist for most of Rush's career, but at the same time, in those later days, when they were getting a little bit older, you might think Geddy Lee will lip sync a part of this. He never did. And the first time that I heard him on a YouTube clip on the R40 tour, I thought, man, he sounds terrible. And then, I saw him live, and he sounded kind of the same way. But at the end of the day, I was glad just to see him live. I didn't care that he sounded however he sounded like. And honestly, if you go back and you play the R40 album, it's really not that bad. It's not like he sounded in the 80s, but he sounded still really good. I mean, he could still sing better than I could. That's not saying much, obviously, but he could sing better than a lot of musicians that even I listen to now. Or how, some of the musicians that I've seen live. He could sing better than them. But that's why I went to Rush concerts. That's why my dad and I went to Rush concerts. We actually got to see these majestic humans playing this ridiculously complicated prog rock, prog metal music. Sometimes heavy metal music. So it was the experience. It was being in the same building as them. It was hearing the music loudly, but it was hearing that particular night's rendition of that music loudly. It wasn't some pre-recorded bull. It was like the real deal. So, anyways, that's going to be it for this one. I don't want to drag this out to 45 minutes. I've been saying that I've been meaning to cut down on the time of these podcasts, but this will be the first example of where I actually stick to that. So let's hope that we have more like that. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Again, let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, whatever. And check out that link in the description to that segment about ticket prices. It was really informative and really sad to watch, honestly. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Click like if you like this video, subscribe for more, and peace out, broskies.